Being a father is one of the greatest responsibilities that a man can have. And part of that responsibility is us teaching our children and the next generation what's really important in life. Tomorrow is Memorial Day, and while most people around the country are thinking about barbecues, hot dogs, hamburgers, and fireworks, we should really be thinking about the sacrifice that have made and saying thank you to them. And they'll never hear the thank you from us here on Earth, but we should be thanking them, and we should be remembering the people who are still struggling with the war, because there are people who die every day, and the results are that of a war that they have long left, but they continue to carry with them. We live in an incredible country where we enjoy freedoms that people around the world can barely even fathom or dream. But that freedom, it's not free. It's cost the absolute top price for so many brave men and women in the United States. And they came before us and they gave the ultimate sacrifice so that we could be free. So today, while we are enjoying all of these freedoms we have as Americans, and including the freedom to not even realize what the sacrifice was that got us here, let's have some gratitude and remember the fallen that have given their lives and those who still carry the war home with them right now, and we lose on a daily basis. I mean, think about it. Dating all the way back to the Revolutionary War, we've had people as young as 14 and 15 sign up for combat roles in the armed forces. In the Civil War, it got even worse in some brigades, where I've heard stories of people as young as 9 or 12 fighting in the Civil War. And that's not the only time that it's ever happened. In World War II, we had a lot of young people who were 18, 19 years old signing up for the military. We had 17-year-olds going off to war. And in Vietnam, the average age of the people who died in combat was 23 years old. And these people who have lost their lives fighting for our freedoms, or dedicated their lives to maintaining our freedoms at all costs, they weren't superheroes. They weren't people who couldn't be hurt or couldn't be injured or didn't feel pain or had no reason to live. They were just like us. They were blue-collar people. They worked on cars. They were mechanics and welders, and they were construction workers, and they were factory workers, and they were white-collar people. They were managers, and they were paper pushers, and they were accountants, and they were fathers and husbands and sons, and in some cases wives and daughters and mothers. And we need to remember that their lives mattered, but they still answered the call because that's how strongly they felt about what we have and what we take for granted. This Memorial Day, I choose to be grateful for Memorial Day. I choose to be grateful for the wonderful country that I live in, that I can raise my children in without fear. I live in one of the greatest places that has ever been known in all of time. And if you disagree with me, I don't know what to tell you, because anyone who's been outside of the country or who knows enough about the rest of the world would tell you that there is no better place than the United States when it comes to freedom and the ability to do what you want to do. It just doesn't compare. And that's why people are laying down their lives in some cases to support this, because they believe in it wholeheartedly. So I'm challenging you, me, and all of us right here, right now, to do something with that. Go out and vote. Get involved in your local politics. Make sure that you are raising your children right and reminding them about the freedoms. Fight for freedom. Support the Constitution. Do things that you think will protect what you were born and given for the next generation, so that this freedom can carry forward, and the sacrifices that were made by these people who gave everything that we're trying to remember today are not in vain, because it's carried forward. Because that is the only thing that makes it worth it, is if we can protect what they have sacrificed their lives for. And that is how we honor that sacrifice. But there's a part of the sacrifice that has come back with soldiers who survived. It's a survivor's guilt. It's an inability to carry with them the burden that they have taken another human's life. It's lots of things. It's post-traumatic stress disorder with never feeling safe. It's seeing horrible things all the time and not being able to get them out of your head. It's constant anxiety and pain, and we need to acknowledge this and remember that for some, the battle is carried home and they still were lost in war. We just didn't realize it until later. We need to pay closer attention to that, because it's a huge problem in our country right now. According to the numbers I have, we've lost 8,000 soldiers, roughly, since 9/11 in the armed forces during active combat roles. And then another 8,000 or 9,000 that were strictly contractors, which were also American citizens, and in most cases were soldiers that were in the military and left the military to become a contractor. So there's still American lives fighting for the same cause. Only they got paid more money, and some people could say that they were just mercenaries. Now, in the same period that we have lost, let's say 16,000 U.S. troops in foreign wars, we have lost 30,000 plus U.S. troops to them removing themselves from the simulation because they couldn't deal with what they brought back from the war. That is what I'm talking about. Memorial Day should not just be about the ones who died on the battlefield physically. Some people die on the battlefield, but their bodies carry forward for many years. And if we catch it, sometimes we can help heal them. We can bring them back. We can show them life again. But if we just ignore that, then they will just wither away until the moment comes when the battle finally gets them. And we need to focus more on those people. A staggering statistic, between 17 and 18 vets take their own life in the United States every single day. Let that soak in for a moment. Every single day. These people are suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. They're suffering from survivor's guilt because they came home and their buddies didn't. Their best friends, the people who were like family to them, they may have even had their life saved by one of their friends who didn't get to come home because they saved their life. There's so many horrible things that war can do to somebody and put into their brain and their mind. Some people, when they come home, they act like it doesn't bother them. They stuff it away and they think, oh, this is just a part of being a man or part of being a soldier. We need to be there for them. They need to be there they're there for each other. If you're one of those soldiers, contact somebody. Contact somebody from your old unit. Contact somebody who you know who was in the military before, after, or at the same time as you. Contact a family member. Talk to somebody. Contact the crisis hotline and go to the veterans line. Just reach out. Reach out. You're not alone. So many have been through what you're going through. So many have fought this battle and gotten through it. And you can too. And you're going to get through it because you have a dedication for a reason. You were dedicated to doing the right thing. You were dedicated to supporting your country and your family. And we're going to be dedicated to supporting you. So this Memorial Day, let's do more than just relax and have burgers and barbecue and light off fireworks and go to the beach or the pool or the lake or whatever with our families. Let's take the time to be grateful and teach our sons and daughters why we have these wonderful things that we have, what Memorial Day is truly about, and why it's important, why that sacrifice was so absolutely valuable on every single time. Every time. Not one of the lives that have been given for this country was given of a life that was not of value. Everybody values their life. Everybody wants to live. Everybody is struggling to survive. We all want to enjoy the benefits of what others have done. We all want to enjoy the benefits of what we have done. So let's remember that today. The people who defended this nation, who actually fell on the battlefield themselves, passed away in a hospital later, or the ones who brought it home with them and pass as a result of what they carry. And honor that sacrifice by raising good children, having a good family, having a good life, defending the Constitution, fighting for freedom, going out and voting, and just all in all making the world a better place for everyone who comes after you. That's what we should all be doing. And remember to watch out for each other. Family members, friends, check in on people. If you know that they're a vet, you know they went through a lot, every once in a while just check on them. Hey, how you doing, man? I know you've been through a lot. I just want to let you know if you ever need someone to talk to, I'm here, no judgment, and I'll never repeat anything you say. It'll be like you never even told me. But I'll be here for you, and I'll do what I can for you. Just let them know that you're there. Some of them will tell you, oh, you've never been through what I've been through, and you couldn't handle it, or I don't want to burden you with it, or this is not the type of thing that you talk to a civilian about, or something along those lines. That's perfectly fine if that's how they feel, but encourage them to find a vet that they could talk to if that's the case. Encourage them to find somebody they can talk to, because those feelings of guilt and remorse and everything, every single one of those feelings is normal. It's natural. Anybody would go through it unless they were a psychopath, and that's a brain damage thing. So it's just, I've seen so much suffering. Before I finish up today, I just want to say one quick thing here, and that is, at some point I really want to discuss maybe something about combat roles with people that are 18 years old. I mean, in the state of Florida, an 18-year-old isn't even allowed to buy tobacco or alcohol. They can't go to most clubs because they aren't legally allowed to drink, and they're not allowed to buy tobacco products or whatever things they sell in head shops. So I think we should consider making the combat role situation 21 and up. And there's lots of other stuff I have that I'd like to talk about, but I'll make a video about those things in the future. I'm not trying to reflect on Memorial Day about this, but a lot of young people have passed in battles fighting for our freedoms. And I kind of feel we owe it to the next generation to protect the young as much as we can. And I don't mean that they should never have to suffer, because suffering is a part of growth, but let's let them get through an extra stage of maturity when we think they're old enough to drink alcohol and decide if they want to smoke tobacco, before we throw them into a war zone with a weapon and make them go up head to head with somebody on the other side that intends to kill them. I don't think it's right to throw young children into that. Most are not ready for it, especially today. Maybe during World War II, people started, tilling the fields when they were 12. They started helping on the farm. They started, milking the cows when they were really young. They started working early, and they were forced to develop faster. Nowadays, people are developing really slow, and by the time someone's 18 years old, they're really still just like a middle schooler. They're just a kid. They make funny jokes, and you have the oddball out, but I digress. This is about Memorial Day, and we should be remembering all the people who have sacrificed and all the ones that are still sacrificing today. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you all so much. Ta-ta for now. Like, subscribe,